Hi everyone, this is Janet from Knit and Pearls. This video will show you how to knit the Estonian braid, which is also known as the lateral braid. The first thing that we need to do before we begin, and we're knitting the lateral braid in the round here, but the first thing that we need to do is cast on one stitch. And so I like to do that by casting on with a cable cast on. So you take the right hand needle and you put it right in between the first two stitches on the left hand needle. You're not going into a stitch, but right in between them. And then you are wrapping your yarn, bringing it back through the stitch, or between the two stitches, and then you're taking your left hand needle and scooping it right onto your left needle. So we've just added a stitch. And now we're ready to start the Estonian braid. So the first thing that you are going to do is we are going to reach behind and knit into the back of the second stitch that is on the needle. And you are going to wrap your yarn and bring that through, but you're not taking anything off the needle yet. Next, you're going to knit into the first stitch on the left hand needle through the front, and you're going to again wrap your yarn, bring that through, and now you're ready to take everything off the needle. Okay, now in order to do it again, we need to move the stitch that we just completed on our right hand needle. We need to move that back to our left hand needle, so just move it over, and we're ready to start again with the Estonian stitch. So you're going to go into the back of the second stitch on the left hand needle, wrap, bring that through, but don't take anything off the needle yet. And then you're going to go into the first stitch on the left hand needle, again wrap, bring it through, and then everything comes off. So again, we need to move the first stitch, the stitch that we just completed on our right hand needle, back to the left hand needle. And then we're going to do it again. Knit into the second stitch on the left hand needle, wrap and bring it through. And then you're going to knit into the first stitch, the front of the first stitch on the left hand needle, wrap and bring it through, and take everything off. I'm going to do it a few more times. I'm going to take that stitch back to the left hand needle. You're going to go into the back of the second stitch on the left hand needle, wrap and bring it through, and then into the front of the first stitch on the left hand needle, wrap, bring it through, and now it comes off. Again, moving that stitch back to the left hand needle, go back into the second stitch, and then into the first stitch, and then it comes off. We go back, the back of the second stitch, the front of the first stitch, and then everything comes off. And you can see the braid has begun. So we are going to complete this all the way to the last stitch, and then I will show you how we are going to join this so that it looks like one long braid all the way around the cowl, and also how to make it look jogless. That's between the ending and the beginnings of the braid. And as you know, if you're knitting in the round, it's a spiral. It's a true spiral. Things are not going to exactly meet. So we need to try to force this to meet with as much, as less of a jog as possible. So what we're going to do is first we're going to move our marker because for the cowl, or if you're knitting a hat or a mitten, this would be a great accent for socks. You want to keep track of your beginning of round marker. And then we are going to cut a 6-inch tail with the yarn. So we'll do that. And then we're going to put this on a tapestry needle. Okay, so I'm going to put that on a tapestry needle. So what we are going to do, actually I'm sorry, we didn't need to move the marker yet, so we got to move that back. Remember, when we first started, we casted on a stitch, so we added a stitch. So we need to take off a stitch. We need to get back down to the original number of stitches that we started with. So what we are going to do is we are going to take the last stitch that we just completed off the needle, and then we are going to gently pull the working yarn out of that last lateral braid there. It just pops right out. See that? So now what we are going to do, we are going to take our tapestry needle and bring it through the back of that braid and just bring it through. And now we are going to move our marker. We're going to come across and find the first clean lateral braid. You see the V laying down. It's a V laying down. You're going to take your tapestry needle and just go behind that V. We're not going through any stitches. We're just catching both of those legs. And we're bringing the needle up and then coming back over to where we started. We're going to bring our tapestry needle back straight down right through the same braid that we brought it up with to begin with. And we are going to complete that gap. So now it is completely seamless with no jog at all. And then you're ready to start the next round. You do have to start your yarn as if you've run out of yarn and you've had to start a new ball of yarn, so you will have to do that, and you start knitting the next round. And know that whenever you do the Estonian braid, the stitches in the next round are going to be a little stretched out. They're going to be a little elongated, and that's just the way they are. There's nothing you can really do about that. But just know that those stitches will be a little bit taller than a normal row of stitches of knitting. And that's it. That is how you can complete your Estonian braid for the ripple effect cowl. And again, this is a great little technique that you could add an accent to a mitten, a sock, a hat, and it's just all finished off really nicely. And obviously you'll have to weave in your ends at the end of the project. Thanks so much.